Here we go on another episode of the podcast for Mr. Ivy's class, Personal Finance. Today we're going to be covering topics of different ways to save money and how we're going to use our money throughout our life goals. All right, so first, the best way to save money, in my opinion, is CDs.
What's a CD, Joe?
A CD is when you put money in a bank and they say, if you don't touch this for this amount of time, we'll give you some extra percentage.
Can everyone invest in a CD?
Anyone can. I've done it, and I did it when I was under 18, so really anybody can, because I don't have a credit score.
Wow.
And I'm kind of untrustworthy. But since the money's given straight up, anybody can do it.
That's
so
great.
And most of the time, these are at about a 5% interest rate, which, if you're putting a lot of money in, that's going to be a pretty hefty return. And as that compounds, that's a lot of money. So that's my personal favorite because there's no risk involved unless the bank completely goes under. But if you put your money in a safe bank, it's one of the safest things you can do.
I personally like some stocks. Can you explain some stocks to me, Joe?
Okay. So the stock market is kind of how the people view different companies, right? So take Dutch Bros, for example.
Okay.
They got in the stock market and their stock was about $9
Okay.
when it started. And this was only, 4 years back. So I remember this quite well. And it skyrocketed immediately because people were like, oh my goodness, I'm going to buy that stock. And so it got up to 25. And then I think it even got up to 35. And then it's kind of mellowed out right about that $25 mark. And I think it goes up, I don't know, maybe 2% a year, which is a steady incline, which is exactly what businesses look for. But how does this apply to what we want to do in life? Haley, what do you want to do in life?
I, Joe, want to become a nurse. I want to go to college. I want to get my education, which takes a lot of money, so I'm going to have to start saving that too, you know what I mean?
Good point.
Yeah, what do you want to do in life?
I want to have a job in child therapy, but my biggest passion comes in just traveling the world and meeting new people.
It also takes a lot of money. You're going to have to do
Does
some
take a lot of
saving
money.
for that.
Yeah,
everything.
so I'm going to take advantage of every interest opportunity I get and every, insider information that I can get on the stock market. And so if I'm going to be traveling a lot, I think that saving money would be huge. And same with that college, because becoming a licensed child therapist is kind of a hefty knock on the bank account. So it would be wise to invest wisely.
So most people, we learned about diversity and how you need to kind of spread your money out. Are you only going to go in CDs, stocks? What stocks are top of line for you? It's important to be diverse, Joe.
Right. I'll have a retirement account, and of course I'll probably have a home base where I live. But I don't want to have probably more than one house unless it's the type of situation where people are renting. And so then I keep my property, but also just pay off the monthly,
So real estate could be somewhat of an option for you.
Yeah, I would say that's the only other one other than CDs, stocks, and a retirement account. Real estate's the only one I would consider.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Real estate's good. You can rent out some things. I mean, if you're traveling around the world, why not get a house in Germany? Get some German renters out there. That's as diverse as it gets. As every country.
Amen to that. And I would also like to have some friends in all these different countries. I'm actually taking a trip for 10 months in Europe, and I'm hoping to meet a lot of new friends that would maybe I'll call them up in a few years and I'll be like, hey, you got an extra room?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, you're my man.
Yeah. I really think you're going wise here, Joe. I appreciate that. Diversifying, planning for your future, travels. CDs are great. Stocks are great. Retirement is a great deal, especially if you want to travel. I'm sure you'll want to travel for the rest of your life. So when your retirement reaches a certain point, you'll have that money there. So you can go and travel even when you're old.
Amen to that. I don't know. That's our take on finances and our future.
Thanks for teaching me about that, Joe, and the viewers, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I really appreciate that.
More where that came from.